What it do, what it do, what it does? How y'all doing today? Welcome to my office, aka the crevice of our apartment. I'm making this video because a lot of people have been asking me questions about the tour now that it's over. Exactly a week ago, the tour ended, November 9th. It was the last show and it was amazing, but I'm gonna be going over the whole tour and I have a couple questions here that people have been asking me. And by that I mean I have a couple questions here that I wish people were asking me that I wanted to make a video about. Why the name, The Open Door Tour? Well, every show that I booked for this tour has been completely by the hand of the Lord. Every venue that was accepting me to come in and perform for a paying audience, I knew that the Lord had allowed it for a reason, and I wasn't gonna shy away from that. Hence the name, The Open Door Tour. Also, when I booked these shows, I did not have an agent or a manager at the time. It was just me reaching out to clubs, emailing them, trying to put shows together. And I almost drove myself crazy, but we gonna get into that a little bit later. How long was the tour? It started July 13th, 2023 and ended November 9th, 2023. Where did I perform? From the beginning of the tour to the end, I'll go right in order. I also want to do a shout out to the clubs because they took a chance on me and I will be forever grateful for the experience. So in order, Mineral City, Ohio, shout out to the Alive Music Festival. Hanover, Pennsylvania, shout out to the Church of Satire. Columbus, Ohio, shout out to the Columbus Funny Bone. Baltimore, Maryland, shout out to the Port Comedy Club. Atlanta, Georgia, shout out to the Atlanta Punchline. Springfield, Missouri, shout out to the Blue Room Comedy Club. St. Charles, Missouri, shout out to the St. Charles Funny Bone. Dallas, Texas, shout out to the Dallas Comedy Club. Houston, Texas, shout out to the Comedy Lounge. They recently shut down. Janesville, Wisconsin, shout out to the Comedy Cabin. Tampa, Florida, shout out to the... Where'd I go in Tampa? Tampa, Florida, shout out to the Side Splitters Comedy Club. And last but not least, Chandler, Arizona, shout out to Mic Drop Mania. What are some highlights of the tour? Starting the tour at the Alive Music Festival was huge. I'd never performed at a music festival ever, and this was a big one. The weekend was headlined by Lauren Daigle, and then I performed comedy after her, and I called her my opener. Then her goons jumped me in the alley. Just kidding. But that was a really fun weekend because I got to work with Aaron Weber and Shama Marima. If you guys don't know those names, you guys need to know those guys are hilarious gentlemen, really great comedians. Another highlight of the tour, I got to stay in Bob Smiley's house when I was performing in Texas. And I learned that he kicks in his sleep. Another highlight, literally almost in the middle of the tour, while I was in Missouri, I signed with my first agent ever. Her name is Emma. She's amazing. Shout out to Platform Artists. The biggest high of the tour was my Tampa, Florida show. If you do not know, my wife surprised me at the show. I had no idea she was gonna be there. It was almost the end of the show and I was looking out in the audience and I saw her little chubby cheek sitting there and I was like, there's no way that somebody else in Florida looks this much like my wife. That was definitely the biggest highlight because she surprised me. She really got me. I almost started crying on stage. And I usually only do that if it's going really bad. What are some lowlights of the tour? One of the first ones that come to my mind is having to make myself throw up in Atlanta. Before the show, I got really motion sickness because I got right off the plane, got right into an Uber, and it was just a lot of movement, and growing up, I got motion sickness a lot, so when I got to my friend's hotel, Chester Goad, who's an amazing comedian, when I got to his hotel, I was like, dude, I cannot do it, I can't do it. And we had to go to the club, so we tried to eat something before the show, and it just wasn't calming my stomach, and I was like, I know what I have to do. I've done this before. I'm a seasoned veteran at motion sickness. I know exactly what to do. I shoved my fingers down my throat, and then I pukey-wookied. The show actually went amazing. There aren't that many lowlights of the tour. It was pretty amazing. But the other one that comes to my mind was canceling the San Diego show. I only had to cancel one show this whole tour, and it was the San Diego show. We had to cancel because of low ticket sales. But no one even noticed when we canceled the show because no one bought tickets! What's something I didn't know before the tour? I didn't know how much my material was gonna change. When I started the tour, I felt pretty confident in all of the jokes that I was about to perform for the country. They've gotten so much better, it blows my mind. The order of the jokes have changed. The attitudes of the jokes have changed. And now everything's really coming together, so I'm excited to keep on working on it. I also didn't realize how much it would mean to me, the people who came out for every show. I can't even use words to explain how grateful I am that y'all would spend your hard-earned money to come look at a goofy light skin for an hour and some change. How did it affect my marriage? It made us miss each other more. At least my side. So we got married in June. The tour started in July. I specifically sectioned out the shows. That's a whole lot of S's. Alliteration. I planned the shows like a couple days in between each so that I wouldn't be gone for the first 6 months of my marriage. You know, I don't want to ruin it right away. At least give me some time, you know, hey. My wife and I, we also saw new sides of each other. Because before the tour, during the tour, there were certain points where I would get so anxious about how the shows were gonna go. I would get so depressed about when I'd hear ticket sales. I was in such a bad headspace, and I don't usually get like that. So she had never seen me like that before. But then that gave her an opportunity to encourage me. And she kept encouraging me and kept reminding me the whole purpose of the tour, which was not to sell out every show. The purpose was to spread laughter and true joy. And sometimes it was difficult for me to get that through my nappy hair. But luckily, my wife is extremely patient and she kept loving me and kept encouraging me. I'm extremely grateful for everything she does for me. She really is the bomb diggity bomb. Would I do it again? No. Yes, I'll do it again. There are so many places I did not get to go to, and I want to perform in every city of the United States of America, which according to Google, there is 19,502 cities. So if I performed in a new city every night, I will be pretty busy for the next 53 years! What's the biggest takeaway? Is that the size of the audience you're performing in front of does not matter, but their attitude does. All of my shows were small crowds, but the people there were excited and ready for comedy. And that made the shows amazing. I would take that over a sold-out, rude audience any night. So what's next? I actually just recently signed with my first manager literally 2-3 days ago. Shout out to my boy Adam Griffin, and shout out to Emma for connecting me with Adam. Adam is gonna be helping out with the TV and film aspect of my career. So you never know what could happen. Movies, TV shows, commercials. I may be the new face of hemorrhoid cream, but in all seriousness, there are some big things coming soon. 2023 was already an insane year. My wife and I, we got married, had the first tour, got my first agent, got my first manager, but now it all feels like 2023 was just a warm-up for 2024. And as always, we will continue to let the Lord lead us. All of this is happening simply because Jesus did not give up on me. He saved my life, he changed my heart and changed my mind, and he continues to do those every single day. And don't forget, laughter is good medicine, but Jesus Christ is the only healer. I love you guys.